Hi, welcome to Notes in 9. My name's David Leedy from LotusNotebook.com. Before we begin today, I wanted to thank everybody for all the interest from last week's show. The feedback and the emails were really appreciated, so thank you very much for watching. Today we're going to talk about XPages again, and the topic of today's show is busting the rip and replace myth. The question is, do XPages really require you to rewrite all of your existing applications? No, they most certainly do not. You don't have to rewrite your applications, but you may want to. Well, why would you want to if you don't have to? Rewriting allows you to do several things. First and foremost is you can improve the user interface of the application. Now that you're not limited to the Notes client limitations anymore, you can make it look a lot better and prettier. You can improve how the data is structured. You can start to normalize your data now and not have to copy fields from one document to another just for the purpose of having pretty views. You can fix old bad code that you might have lying around for many years and that you know is out there, and you know one of these days you should get around to fixing it. You can learn new skills because, quite frankly, XPages is new to me, it's new to you. It's going to be a good skill to have going forward in Domino development. You also get to relive the excitement you had when you first wrote the application. I mean, really, everybody does like a sequel. So the fact is that rewriting the application will allow you to create the best user experience. But if you don't want to rewrite it, you do have options. You don't have to rewrite your entire application. You can coexist. Well, how do you coexist? Well, you can create an X page that reaches into your existing application. This X page could even be in a separate database. Now we have the ability to separate our backend data from our user interface in ways that we could never do so with the Notes client before. We can have a separate database with an X page that pulls in a view from any database on your server. We still have DB lookups and the backend object model that you've been using for years. We can read and write documents in other databases just like we've done for a long time now. So let's look at this in action. Okay, so we've got a database based off the journal template. It's a notebook with just a couple quick little test documents in here. We come into Domino Designer and we want to create a new X page. We're going to call it X View. And we're going to throw a view controller onto the page. Now what's different here is we're going to use other, and we're going to give it the file name of our database and which view do we want. Okay, and that gives us all our fields here, the columns from the view, and we're going to just take just a couple for the purpose. Oh, we want that one for the purpose of the example. We're going to say OK. Now if we take a quick peek at this, there you have it. Okay, so now what we want to do is click on the first column, and we're going to say show these values as links, so that'll make that editable. And then we're going to save this page. We're going to make another X page. We're going to call X doc. And we're going to bind this page to data. So we're going to come over here to the data tab. And just like we did before, we're going to come down to other, journal, and forms, notebook entry. And that can stay create document. And here we're going to just take two fields, body and subject, and drag them onto the page. And because I've got this little button right here pushed in, it gives us this little wizard where we can change this from edit box to rich text. And we're going to say, let's give us a submit button as well to save some time. So here's our rich text control and subject. And obviously you might want to reorder that, but hey, we've only got 9 minutes. So we're going to click on the button here, submit. I'm going to say add action. I'm going to say save data source. And we're going to return to X view. Finally, we're going to go back to X view. And here's the key, one of the keys. We're going to click on the view controller. And under properties, we're going to say use XDoc here, format runtime, open selected document using. Okay, now if we save this and go back in XView and we preview that, we can click on document 12. We can name it document 13 and submit. We can come in here, do some editing, and say submit. Now you might get this right now. If you read this message, this has to do with the formatting and the saving of the notes client, and that's a topic for another show, I'm sure. But the point is, the documents do save, and if we did actually look at this in the notes client, it actually doesn't look that bad. So that message may not be that big a problem. And there you have it. We've reached in to a notes database without editing the original database one little bit. We've created the XView and the XDoc page in the separate database. Okay, so what about my code? Well, you still have some things to work with. You've got compute with form, which is probably going to be the subject of another show at some point. Your agents will still work. The agent structure has not changed. Lotus script still works. You can do some creative problem solving to reusing your back-end business logic. Matt White was talking the other day about how he reused a lot of the back-end logic in a project by wrapping the existing code around agents. And his new agents were called using Ajax, and they returned JSON. So he used those to update any documents and could salvage a lot of the existing Lotus script logic. So where does that leave us with this myth of rip and replace? Well, I think we're going to call this one busted. For more information, please go to the new XPages blog.com, which is a group blog of XPage enthusiasts talking about our favorite subject. There's also the Domino Designer Wiki and planetlotus.org, which is the one-stop destination for anything Lotus Notes and Domino related. If you want to get in touch with me, my name is David Leedy from lotusnotebook.com, and you can reach me by email or Twitter. Thank you very much for your time. I look forward to seeing you again in another week.